This man was so miserable. His clients were killed in front of his eyes, which completely filled his psychological shadow. The man's name is Xiao Jian. At this moment, his bodyguard license has been revoked and he is often troubled by nightmares. The psychiatrist suggested that he stay away from the shootings and go to the beach to read and listen to music. Then he became so intoxicated that he was not even aware of the scene of the gunfight deep inside. It wasn't until a woman appeared that she was brought back to reality. People who have watched the first movie know that she is Motofuckman's wife Bosch. Before she could explain, the two of them finally escaped with sparks and lightning all the way. Then Aunt Bo told Xiao Jian that he and Brother Pao had originally planned to go on a honeymoon, but Brother Pao was caught by his enemy before it even started, and the other party was his old enemy Carlo. The two are inseparable. At this moment, Aoyuo found a butcher and prepared to cut Brother Pao into pieces. At this critical moment, Brother Pao saw that the CCTVs failed one by one and knew that someone had rescued him. As she spoke, Aunt Bo rushed in and started shooting wildly. Brother Pao picked up the chair and knocked the butcher over, and then used the small space to perform a killing blow. Another shot kicked Arlo away. Aunt Bo just closed her eyes, Tutu used the small sword to back him up, and in the blink of an eye the enemy was stabbed. Then Brother Pao pointed at Jian Jian and asked him what he was doing here. It turns out that when Brother Pao was captured, he told Bo Shen that he could find anyone to save him, except Xiao Jian who was really dead. Suddenly, that person was knocked down by Brother Pao. Xiao Jian was dumbfounded and was laughed at wildly by Brother Pao. However, before taking 2 steps, the 2 parents-in-law were kidnapped by a group of people, and Xiao Jian was also stunned. The next second they were thrown into a basement. It turned out that the Arlo they killed was the informant of Lao Bai of Fubo. Lao Bai relied on him to solve the case and make meritorious service. Now that the man was gone, they had to fight a criminal instead of Arlo. Gang dealings. All 3 of them had something in Lao Bai's hands, so they had no choice but to agree. A bodyguard, a killer, and a liar teamed up and set off. Such a magical combination naturally keeps talking all the way. Finally arriving in Italy, Bo Shen pretended to be Arnold's assistant Xiao Jian and acted as an assistant bodyguard, while Brother Pao was watching nearby. Soon they met their trade partner Vladimir. Jimmy received the full amount of main and handed Bosch a box containing the coordinates of the entire European data grid. At the same time, he gave Bosch a remote sensing bracelet for free. If the distance from the box exceeds 5 meters, the bracelet will explode. It cannot be unlocked until the buyer confirms receipt of the goods. This woman was too irritable. Just because others said he was a bit old, he spoke the quintessence of Chinese culture and greeted him in 8 languages. The whole family used Fei Yuan. Good morning, Doyokan below and the fuck beautiful. The other party became suspicious, and Brother Pao shot him coldly without saying a word. Aunt Bo also played tricks on the lockbox, and the situation was completely out of control. Xiao Jian and Aunt Bo cooperated perfectly, beating them 3 times, 5 times, and 2 times until they were all strewn with teeth. Then he found Vladimir. Gotta eat. Suddenly, a Karami appeared. Xiao Jian subconsciously pushed Bosch away, and he fired the shot. Bosch's small universe exploded, and he picked up the guy and sent him to his death in the blink of an eye. Then he got a piece of garbage somewhere. He pushed Xiao Jian out of the car, threw him and the car into the speedboat and fled. They thought Xiao Jian was dead, and after a second of sadness, they threw him into the sea. However, Xiao Jian did it again. He survived. He wore a bulletproof vest and was not beaten to death, but he was almost drowned by these 2 guys at sea. At this time, a Biao, the buyer of the lockbox, found that the box was also lost and a Luo also died, vowing to catch them. Then the 3 of them observed from the top of the building. Aunt Bibu gave Xiao Jian a painkiller and swallowed it. While they were talking, the killer braid brother had already targeted them and started attacking, and the 3 of them ran away with their heads in their hands. The 3 bodyguards, De Zhuang, completely predicted Xiao Jian's prediction, but Brother Pao was not so particular and just kept tutaying with his eyes closed. At the critical moment, Xiao Jian finally got a car, and the 3 of them drove wildly. Xiao Jian flicked his tail wildly and used the drainage ditch to drift around the corner, which shocked Brother Pao. However, this was all Xiao Jian's dream in the next second. It turned out that Aunt Bo had just given him the wrong medicine, and they had to push Xiao Jian away from them. On the same road, Brother Pao drove to a new height. He almost missed the last night's meal and was going crazy. The car came close to him and hit him hard, and Brother Pao was not used to knocking the man over forcefully. De Zhuang came to persuade him to surrender, but he was knocked away by Brother Pao and almost returned to the west. At this time, Braid Brother was covered with firepower from the air, and the one shot was so powerful that the bridge collapsed. Another shot, and Aunt Bo almost lost her balance and flew out. Brother Pao spotted Brother Braid changing ammunition and used his awesome marksmanship to kill the driver. His own car was also hit by a shot and he almost lost control and fell off a cliff. The 3 of them were desperate, and Xiao Jian decided to go to his father. Several people came to his house, and a dark figure came from the darkness. After a closer look, Xiao Jian's father turned out to be a black man. My little sword stabbed Lu Zi, and his father provided them with a safe house to avoid the limelight. But are safe houses really safe? They were quickly knocked down by flying anesthesia needles, and the 3 were kidnapped again. The person who kidnapped them this time was Biao, the mastermind behind the scenes. It seems that Biao and Bosch had a story. Xiao Jian and Brother Pao were locked up. They were smiling, but in fact they were already preparing to fight back. Soon they got out of control and broke out of the encirclement. The two fled to the yard and asked Aunt Bo to run away together, but Aunt Bo didn't want to leave with Brother Pao. Because Biao was also quite good, seeing the pursuers rushing towards them, Brother Pao had no choice but to leave sadly. The two people who escaped were relaxing on the roadside. Brother Pao told Xiao Jian that he was a lonely hero and could not give Aunt Bo a complete family. Later, Xiao Jian went home and found his father, only to find out that his father had betrayed them. Dad turned out to be Biao's security director. This stepfather never wanted to see him, so this time he kicked him out of the house. Xiao Jian found Brother Pao again, and both of them were very depressed. At this time, Bo Shen called and told Brother Pao that he was just acting and that he did not leave because he wanted to get evidence of Biao's crime. However, he did not expect that Biao was also using his plan. After learning the truth, Brother Pao immediately knew it and showed off his power, easily killing the killer sent by Biao. The next day, the peak showdown officially began, and Bio was going to drill European data center nodes in the deep sea. Then upload the virus to destroy Europe. At this time, Xiao Jian and Brother Pao had already eliminated the guards on the cruise ship. As soon as he entered, Xiao Jian was intercepted by 3 bodyguards, De Zhuan, and Brother Pao also faced the killer. Braid Brother. After a round of shooting, the gunman was the last one left. Just when Brother Braid was screaming, Brother Pao used his reflex marksmanship to kill Brother Braid. Xiao Jian also defeated De Zhuan after a hard battle. At this time, the data node was pierced by a drill, and Biao began to upload the virus. He turned around and saw that the 2 bodyguards were killed, so he went into battle in person and messed up the situation with a crooked handle. The boss was quick and accurate when he took action. Brother Pao was knocked to the ground, and Xiao Jian was stopped by his father. He did not compromise and shot Biao, but his father blocked him. Unexpectedly, my father was wearing a body armor, and when he opened his eyes, he kicked the sword away. He took out his gun and wanted to kill the sword, but was hit with a pencil sharpener. As a result, Brother Pao and Biao started fighting hand to hand, fighting to the death. At the critical moment of life and death, the two of them touched a gun at the same time, and the confrontation reached a deadlock. At this time, Aunt Bo came, and then the 2 parents-in-law teamed up to send Bio back to the west. The virus was stopped on board the ship. The 3 people jumped into the sea to escape at the moment of the explosion. At the end of the film, Lao Bai asked Xiao Jian to sign. Xiao Jian naively thought that his 3 licenses were coming back, but Aunt Guo told him with happiness on her face that what she had just signed was an adoption document.
You are now our son.
What the fuck?